Hello, I'm William Longfellow, and welcome to this final episode of Let's Play Super Mario Kart Pro Edition. Today I'll be racing the Special Cup with Tiny Mario, and we begin on this Donut Plains course, which is as twisty and narrow as always. But it's not too difficult for a tiny character, and part of it is, well, I'm physically smaller. I don't have to worry as much about hitting obstacles. When I take a turn, I don't have to worry as much about snagging a piece of grass. So I don't have to race as precisely here, but I still have to race consistently, because Donkey Kong Jr. there is right on my tail. Now, eventually I'll be able to make some distance between me and Donkey Kong Jr., but it's usually not enough to buffer me from major mistakes like slamming into the wall the wrong way or falling into deep water. If I do that, then Donkey Kong Jr. will catch up and it becomes a bit of an adventure, and this game is hard enough without adventures. Now, the hardest part of this course is actually the very beginning, and you may have seen me in some of the other videos. What I do at the beginning of the first cup is, well, my situation is I'm in last place and I want to start out in first place, and I want a speed boost, but the computers are in my way. So what I do is I pop out to one direction or the other. For instance, if I want to pop out to the right, I start as if turning to the right, and then I hop and then press left as if drifting to the left. And if I time it correctly, then I'll have popped out to the right but still be facing forward. That's the best position for me to be in. Now on this course, there's not much distance between the computers and the right-hand side of the course by the finish line, between the computers and the grass. So what sometimes happens is I'll pop out, but I'll do it too far and I'll be in the grass, and then the computers will still be ahead of me. Or I'll be even with the second or third place computer. And it becomes very difficult to race at that point. What I actually do is I let myself fall behind to 8th place because I really don't want to be crushed by the computers. That's my top priority. So I give myself space. I let myself go to last place and then I figure out how to catch up after that. I could try to play in the cluster of computers, but I find that a little bit too difficult and too chaotic for me. Now this course is a bit tougher than the first course. I still have to race consistently, but the price for messing up in any way is a lot harsher generally, because the computers are always right on my tail. In this narrow section, it's almost impossible to mess up without in some way being on the path of a computer, and then be crushed by the computer. Fortunately, it's not too difficult to catch up if you make a mistake pretty early on. Especially on that last jump, I can swing my way to the right and start catching up, and there are a lot of item boxes to get, which will give me stuff like red shells to use on the computers. But staying in first can be difficult. I really don't want to slam into that wall there or swerve too far into the shallow water. Well, I'll start to race more slowly and Donkey Kong Jr. can catch up and crush me. I've been racing pretty well so far, but even so, oopsies, now that was a good save. I turned too much on the inside, but I jumped into the wall in the right way to keep on going. That's very important if something like that happens. I managed to stay in front of Donkey Kong Jr. the whole time. And there we go with the Koopa Beach course. Now this one is probably the easiest one, although it is tricky. I can never take it for granted. I was going to say that this and the first one were gimmies, but there's no such thing as a gimme in this game. Even the easier courses are pretty tough sometimes. So I laid a banana right on the groove there and I got Bowser. Now I would have liked to have gotten Donkey Kong Jr. or the Princess or somebody, but life's not fair, is it? There we go. I just have to race this pretty much without mistakes. What I like to have is a constant stream of items I can put right on that groove to make the computers mess up. That'll give me a lot of room in case I make a bad mistake. This one's probably a bit easier than the first course. I get rid of my red shell, and now I have a green shell that I can lay right on my item putting area. This is also a pretty easy course to catch up to computers on, because you take that speed boost a lot faster than the computers do. But I still wouldn't take it for granted. You can mess up in lots of ways here. And here I boost past Bowser with my mushroom, and there's a bit of a trick. Whenever you're in a speed boost, you won't be crushed by computers. You'll hit them as if they were your same size. So what I did there with Bowser is, I knew that I would either blast by him normally and I would be okay, or I would hit him and then continue accelerating in such a way that being crushed by Bowser would no longer be a threat. And so if you ever have a mushroom and need to catch up to a computer, that's something to consider if you're a tiny character. It's also something to consider if you're a large character. What you have to do is you have to jump up against the back of the other computer. Just hop on them, and just as if they were a wall, you will continue going afterwards. Now this Vanilla Lake course is probably the hardest one in the Special Cup. I'd say it's maybe the third or second hardest one in the game for a tiny character. I would say Koopa Beach 1 is probably a bit harder. And maybe that Bowser Castle course, but I don't know. This one took me a lot of practice to do. I basically had to find a path in these ice blocks to keep me going. So what I do is, on the home stretch, I go there. It's trickiest on the first lap when all the blocks are still there. On the next few laps, the computer makes a few more spaces for you. Now I have to race very consistently here too, practically without mistake. Although if I fall into like second or third place, I can usually catch up. But if I make a bad mistake... Now that is a bad mistake. We'll see if I can catch up here. Let's see, I'm in 6th place and we have a little more than 1 lap to go. So let's hope I get some good items to tie me back into the winning ranks here. I'll probably finish 4th, maybe 3rd. Now that's a good item for me to have. There we go. Take that, Luigi. That's right, Mario's the dominant brother in this relationship. And now that wasn't good enough to catch up to Yoshi. But 4th place keeps me on top of the rankings, I believe. I should have 1 more point than Donkey Kong Jr. here. And so it all comes down to the final course. Destiny Road. Now I actually made a mistake in its name in the last episode that I did this cup in. I called it Rainbow Road, but Kart Freak actually changed the name to Destiny Road. And I kinda like it. It's as if the original Rainbow Road could only belong to Super Mario Kart. And so this ROM hack gets its own special course. And it's a very fun course. Now I like to take the shortcut on the first lap, but I don't feel real confident in doing it every time. So I did it on the first lap to make a little distance between me and the princess. But I think I'm going to race normally for the rest of the track. The problem is Mario doesn't go quite fast enough for me to be able to make that jump consistently. I have to time it more precisely than I'm usually able to. With a character like Bowser or a regular Mario or something, I think I'd be able to do it better. But now I'll just do the track normally. It's a little tricky to get past the flower part of this course because of those holes in the way, but you can go to the left, you can go to the right, or you can try to hop in the middle. There are 3 ways around. It's just a matter of getting used to this course. Now there comes Bowser from the sky. Computers seem to mess up on this course quite a bit. Maybe it's all the bottomless pits and the sort of curves on the track, even though it's filled with bottomless pit as well. I'm going to hop here into the void. And there we go. I won the Special Cup with Tiny Mario. And that completes my tour of the cups with the tiny characters. And I hope you enjoyed this video series. I don't know if I'll be doing any new Let's Plays soon, but, well, I'll cross the bridges when I come to them. Now during this celebration, Kart Freak puts up a website that you can go to find better Super Mario Kart players than I. Now usually when I like a game as much as I like Super Mario Kart, I like to visit the community and try to pick up as many new strategies as I can, but there's something about learning Super Mario Kart that really stuck with me, that's really precious to me. So I haven't done that yet, but I might someday. See if I can, I don't know, work up my time trial scores. And as for the game in general, this ROM hack, somebody posted in another video of this game that they consider it an awesome tribute to Super Mario Kart. And that's also how I feel about the game. It uses the same themes as the original Super Mario Kart, it just goes beyond with them. You have to use everything that you know from the first game, just more. And so I think it's an awesome game in its own right, but it's also a very good tribute. It works along those two dimensions. And so I definitely recommend it if you're looking for a challenge. Well, that's all I have to say about this ROM hack. I'll let you enjoy the rest of the music. Thanks for watching.